town of Hokitika, hard to say. And I'm going to see a gorge tomorrow, and this town is known for greenstone as well, so I'm just going to take a look around the center, which is adorable. This is in a lot of the tourist ads for Hokitika, and it's actually here on the beach. Wow, I actually made it. Cool. Hokitika is known for the pounamu jade stone, which you see all over New Zealand, and it is quite a job figuring out what to buy. And you want to, if you do buy jade stone here, you want to make sure that you ask that it is actually from New Zealand, and that you understand there's so many different types, like straight green, flowered jade. It's overwhelming actually, so you should take your time and find your piece. And they say when you do, you actually, it kind of calls to you, and I think that's very true. Talk about a cool find. I went into this store that says carve your own, ended up meeting this guy. I asked, oh, do you make your own? And I was shown into the workshop where I showed you the guy carving, and it turns out this woman, Tina, who's Maori, I believe, is going to take me tomorrow afternoon on a walk in the sacred area where you can find greenstone. I'm going to come back here and make a piece. Super excited. Time for a walk on the beach. So, okay, Hokitika got its start with the gold rush in the 1860s.
That's right.
And you call your mountains the Alps as well, I was going to ask you, because...
Southern Alps.
Southern Alps. And I noticed on the ride over here, a lot of the cows hang out on the beach side and like look out at the ocean.
Yeah, very lucky cows. Grow up to 60 meters high.
Wow.
They're also known as the dinosaur tree because they've been tested, the seeds of them have been tested and taken right back to the Jurassic era.
Ah.
Rain annually.
Oh, wow.
Where we're going to the gorge, you can double that figure. So it always rains much more closer to the mountains. So out in Kowhitirangi, it was the scene of New Zealand's first mass murder in 1941. A man named Stanley Graham killed 7 men.
Wow.
4 policemen and 3 home guards. We know a wee bit about mental illness today, but back in 1941 they didn't. He thought the other farmers were against him, that they wanted his land, so they were dirtying his milk.
Hi, cows.
Right round. And to the second suspension bridge, it's like 100 metres long.
Wow, okay. And all that I can do in an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, let's do it. Where am I going to look? Because every which way is gorgeous. Wow.
Truly is.
And you said the blue water is from the glacier?
It's glacier fed.
Okay.
Yeah, and the rock flour of the limestone rock.
Wow. That's amazing, that color. This path is beautiful too.
It truly is.
Suspension bridge. That is stunning. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if the...
Of yourself on this bridge?
Sure. Wow. How long did it take to make this track?
Oh, good question.
A while.
Well, probably about 18 months, including the bridge as well. And the new bridge is just, it's an engineering feat. It's very...
Going to the viewing platform now.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sure the color is more spectacular in person, but it really is that crazy blue color. Almost reminds me of the Caribbean or something, that view. Here's a tip for you. The guide had me lather up with sandfly repellent because apparently some of these areas are breeding grounds, which she said sunny days aren't as bad as cloudy days, but if you do come here, definitely bring your sandfly repellent. Oh, wow. I hope that the color is making it through to you on this video. It really is amazing. So you can see again, this water is definitely worth the trip to come here. So if you're in the area, this is near Hokitika, not too far from Greymouth. It was about a 40-minute bus ride from Greymouth to Hokitika. If you're in the area, highly recommend coming to this gorge. Really amazing. Sounds like a school group, maybe. Nope. Turns out that family is from Singapore, not a school group. And I know that because one of the dad or the grandfather liked the microphone on my phone that I have attached here. We got chatting, I asked where they're from and found out it's Singapore. That's what happens when you travel and look like a complete and blatant tourist. So apparently I'm walking towards what the other suspension bridge was, the old bridge, and they built a new bridge, that one, and that's what I'm walking towards. I'm not sure if you heard the part in the car where Rachel was telling me that apparently the west coast of the South Island is known as a rainforest. That was news to me, I didn't know, and that's why you see all this amazing green vegetation, I guess, year-round. I'm approaching the new bridge, which has a maximum load of 20 persons, where the other one could only take 6. So with I think there's an Asian family ahead of me, looks like there will be enough room for me to go. Oh, see, again, just when you think you saw the most beautiful view, proven wrong once again. We're at the end of our walk, sadly. What a beautiful, worthwhile thing to do when you're in Hokitika. So Rachel's just told me a huge update to the Stanley story where she mentioned that his milk was tainted and he thought it was the people around him, his neighbors, conspiring against him to get his land. And it turns out that his cows, so the rainwater would make the grass dirty?
The grass was very wet and high, yes.
And the cows' teats would drag in them and they got infected. And Stanley wasn't able to see that because he didn't look at their teats?
Well, he just couldn't see past what he thought was happening already.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
So in his head he had already built up the story and couldn't see past that. And in fact, it was his own cows that needed to be treated for infection causing the dirty milk.
Exactly.
So something that I've found intriguing while I've been in New Zealand is that everybody's car has all the buttons in like Chinese or Japanese, and the reason for that is that I guess New Zealand doesn't make cars, first off, and secondly, importing a used car from Japan or China is one of the cheapest ways to get a car here, and as I understand it, the cars in Japan and or China have strict rules, and after like 2 years they're not allowed to drive them anymore, so they export them here, and they're in great shape, and you can buy them here, except that everything is in Chinese or Japanese and then you have to figure out your car, but apart from that, good deal. We started with something called whakatoki, where I'll show you the group shortly, but we stood as a group and introduced ourselves and shared personal information, which I was not allowed to film because it was meant to be a personal ceremony among us to share each other's company and also food. And it was absolutely lovely, and I learned about the mountains and the how part of the introduction is not just where you're from, but the land, the literal land, and bringing that into the ceremony. So I'm here with Tina. So what is the correct pronunciation? Is it Maori? Like how do you?
Maori.
Maori.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maori.
Maori. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of the pounamu and the Maori people?
Yes. Yes, so there was a princess, her name was Waitaki, and she was bathing in the Coromandel in a little place called Mere Island. And our taniwha Potini had gone up to the North Island to go and research and have a look around, and he seen Waitaki and looked at her in lust and stole her. Now her husband Tama'ahua, he was a chief from up north. He went down to the bathing bit where she would bathe, and he seen that her stuff was there and she had gone missing. So he threw a dart in the air and did a karakia, and the karakia is a prayer. So the dart pointed to where she was, so he ventured off. Now there's 11 rivers from Mere Island Coromandel that go all the way down to Glenoki and back up to Arohura. Now he stopped at all these rivers and would stay the night there and light a fire. So as Tama'ahua would throw his dart up every morning to find out where they were, and they'd find their little campsite, he knew that he wasn't far. So they pursued him. So as they got to Milford Sound, they got down there, and that's when Waitaki was cold. It was rougher waters down there, and that's where she began to cry, because she felt that she was never going to see her husband again. She was never going to see her people, so she started crying. And down there, the pounamu called Tangiwai, and they are tears of Waitaki, and it spread out all through Milford Sound. So Potini seen that, and he didn't like her sad, so he thought, right, I'll bring her back up, because she's cold and she's going to die and she's sick. So he brought her back up, and they got back to Arohura, and it was the warmest river out of the 11 rivers they went to. So he brought her back up right to the top of the Arohura, and Tama'ahua and Tuhua, which are his slave that came with him, he could see them at the bottom, see their fire. So he thought, I'm not going to get away from them, they're going to pursue me, so if he couldn't have her, no one could. So he took her down to the water. As they were getting closer to the water, she was getting colder and harder, until she turned into pounamu. And he put her at the bottom of the river, and then he swam past Tama'ahua, and they call it, he's the protector of the South Island seas, Te Taiwa Potini. He's our guardian, he's our taniwha. So he swam past them, they got to the top, and the husband knew something was wrong. They were looking for hours and hours for her, and they couldn't find her until he looked at the water, and he seen a glitter, something glistering at him. So he walked over. As he seen, he knew it was her. Now, there's stories of them saying that he was trying to revive her, he was throwing karakia after karakia, prayers after prayer, to try and revive her, but it didn't work. So he named the mountain Tuhua, which is our mountain, after her, to protect her, guard her. And he ventured back off to the North Island. But as he cried, he drew tangiwai tears. So you do find tangiwai up our river too, and it's a very, very special stone. It's a translucent one, because tears are translucent, you can see right through them. So that's the stone. So those are tangiwai, tears of Potini, Tama'ahua, the husband.
Okay.
He went back up north, and that's our story. That's our legend story of how pounamu is created. So the beauty that you see in pounamu and the pieces of pounamu are a bit of Waitaki, and to resemble how beautiful she was.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so that's our legend story.
And I know that there's also, I'm becoming aware that the land where the pounamu is available, is sacred. And
very sacred, and the only privately owned river down here. So we got all our rights back. We never signed the treaty, therefore it was never meant to be taken.
The Waitangi Treaty?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were the only ones. So yeah, very proud.
So this is the land we're going. Actually, we wouldn't be allowed. Like I wouldn't be allowed here without you.
No.
Or somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're walking to is a pass site. This is a very, very sacred place. My grandfather's the chief. Pumarie. See you again.
Kakite
Pumarie.
Pumarie.
Yeah.
And then kia ora for hello.
Kia ora. Hello.
Yep. Okay.
Kei te pihi a koe. That means how are you?
How are you?
That means I'm good.
Okay. So in terms of finding pounamu,
Yes.
pounamu, around New Zealand, does it all belong to Maori, like regardless of
Yes.
where it's found?
Yep. So we've got all rights of wherever pounamu is, so it goes right down to Glenorchy,
Okay.
to all the way up to Nelson.
On the South Island.
On the South
Okay,
Island.
so on the South Island, you guys own all.
Yeah, all rights to pounamu.
So how come, like, because I imagine if somebody finds some,
Yes.
I mean, and they sell it, there's no way to trace that it didn't go through.
No, but for some reason we always find out. And we
Okay.
always find it because when we
Okay.
see it, a lot of people are around these days and they know us
Yep.
from all the education we've been doing to them,
Okay.
educating them
Yep.
on the stone and stuff. So whenever there is some sold, normally people are ringing and questioning and asking
Okay.
just to make sure that they're
Got
not
it.
in trouble, because if we go there and see that they weren't supposed to and
Yep.
someone sold it to them, we take it, confiscate.
Got it.
So we've cleared out a few shops, especially in
Okay.
Queenstown,
Oh,
taking out things,
Wow,
stones, because they've
okay.
been buying it off certain people that they shouldn't have. And snowflake is not meant to be sold. So snowflake pounamu is amazing. It's green with the snowflake flakes in it.
wow.
And they weren't meant to be sold. That was a right that got taken away there. It goes back to the land, back to the people.
Yep.
And it doesn't get sold. Well, there was many shops and people selling it. So there's
Okay.
a few shops we had to clear out and close
Okay.
down and that.
Okay.
And that's just with the authority.
Yeah.
If they're not going to listen to us as us being there, then that's when the police get involved. But we try not to, because that's bringing their culture and their thing into
Right.
it, which makes us have to wait, stop, all that. But we bypass that with our Maori rights.
Okay. Is Hokitika River?
Arahura.
Arahura River.
Arahura River.
Arahura River.
Very
Okay.
sacred.
Okay. Is there a story that goes along with this river?
This is the river where Waitaki was brought up and
okay.
transformed into pounamu.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
this is the mouth of the river.
Okay. Cool. So the pounamu in water as opposed to on land is more translucent. It's been there
because
longer.
it's been naturally formed by the
Okay.
water. So
Ah.
it's green is
Okay.
it's just magic.
Oh, cool. So we're gonna go look here and maybe take our
if
shoes
you want
off.
to,
Yeah.
Otherwise, wear them in there.
All right, I'm taking my shoes off and going barefoot again. Sorry, I couldn't lift my leg high enough, but we're gonna go in the water and look for the pounamu. So I learned that it's actually quite difficult to find the pounamu. There are these beautiful blue-green stones that are the serpentine, as I said. I'm a serpentine expert. So
Marie, see you again.
See you. Done. Haha. Hi, this is Steve, and I just was in his shop because of Tina, and where you can make your own pounamu jewelry and stuff. So I got to drill holes and polish. And Steve, do you want to say a quick word about like your store and how you started it?
I started it 20 years ago and moved in here 2005, and I make everybody happy to come and make their own. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And you're from the Solomon
I'm
Islands?
from the Solomons, so I've been here since '88.
I've never met anyone from the Solomon Islands.
Yeah,
Look, Mo, I met someone from the Solomon Islands. Well, thank you very much.
You're
This was a
welcome.
great experience.
Cheers.
That concludes my walkthrough of Hokitika with the dogs barking in the background. I had a great time here. I highly recommend staying here. I only stayed 2 nights, to be honest. I wish I had maybe booked 3 nights. The town is adorable. You saw the gorge. That was absolutely beautiful. And the whole experience of working with Tina and finding the pounamu, and even she gave me this. You saw me drilling the hole to make a necklace. I have a bracelet now, and I actually found my very own piece of pounamu, which I will really treasure. This is a beautiful town. If I have time, I may even come back. Absolutely love it. I think there's a lot to explore here and highly recommend it. And I'll put lots of information in the show notes. And I will catch you on the next show. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please make sure you do. And as always, come on over to my website at heatherbegins.com and take a travel quiz while waiting for the next episode. See you there. Bye.